Welcome to episode 13 now. It's crazy how many episodes I've got already underway. But yeah, episode 13, second in-person episode of the podcast. I'm joined here by Vincent. So can't wait for this one. I think it's been quite a long time coming. Yeah, I think, where did we actually meet? It was like 2023, wasn't it? Towards the end.
Yeah, I think September 2023.
That sort of time.
Yeah.
And then I guess we just started like, so we had similar ideas, didn't we? Similar sort of approach, view to life. And then I think it's just before Christmas, we just like, let's do it. Let's do a podcast. But yes, but anyway, how you doing? How are things?
Oh well. Like you said, when we met, we found ourselves always talking and chatting and talking and chatting. And it never stops. You know what? Why not just do a podcast? And here we are.
I can't just see where the road takes us. And I think it's like, I don't know, it's be adventurous, I guess, isn't it? It's just, who knows what's going to happen. But I don't know, just the audience, I suppose they might know a little bit about me, maybe not, but I guess just introduce yourself, but let people know a little bit about you. Like, yeah, who is Vincent?
Okay. I'm Vincent. From Nigeria. Been in the UK for the past 15 years now. Came in as a student. I did my degree in economics and I did my master's in entrepreneurship. Been working in the construction railway industry for a while now. Yeah. For over 15 years, and I also then set up my own venture called Centaville, where it's like an incubator for entrepreneurs in Africa. Try to solve a problem because apparently over 70% of the population in Nigeria is like 35 years and below.
Yeah.
But this population is not economically active, but these are the new generation. I would say the most industrious generation. And now I've been in a world where the world is really evolving, talking about new digital age and all that. This new population are very aligned with this new age that's coming, but the institutions of Africa are still outdated.
Yeah.
So what my enterprise is doing is kind of connecting with this young rising population. But my biggest hurdle is still the institution. So I see how we can merge the institution at the same time with the people. I see how we can, collaborate with each other and then align with the global order of things, really. So this is just me in a nutshell. And yeah.
There's a lot of potential. A lot of potential. 'Cause you got a lot of people. I mean, well, if there's no people, then there's nothing in this. Right. Do you know what I mean by that?
Of course.
So that the more people, would you say the more potential in a sense?
Yes. Well, when I started, it's more like the more people, but over time as you grow, you don't really just need people. It's not about the quality of the person. Sometimes one person has more value, not discriminating, than the 100 people. So it's about where are they also going. So it's about aligning, it's about journeys aligning with each other and going together, not really finding yourself in a position where you are trying to lead 100 people to a vision that they don't see. But if you find someone, just one person who is also going that way, it takes you further by just aligning with that person. And so I have a very small team of 5 people doing this magic thing.
Yeah.
But these 5 people, under there are also structures that connect with more people and all of that. So it trickles down all the way to the bottom.
Like a tree.
Yes.
It's on, like yourself, they've got 5 people, then they know people, and
Yeah.
you know people.
Exactly.
It's like you build your network. I suppose a key word there is value, in a sense, like what can you sort of bring to the table? Yeah, because I think it's interesting you say that, because actually this thing sort of came to me. It's sort of maybe like end of last year, maybe end of November. I thought this is maybe similar to times when this podcast, the idea of it was conceived, but I think it's talking about how I was looking to go from a bigger, I was basically sort of maybe like autumn sort of time, or if you're American, fall. I was sort of had like quite a big circle. You sort of wanted just to get to know everyone, but I sort of gone away towards stronger but small circle? And would you say for sure that's like the way to go, especially when it comes to not just life, but all business and life as well? Would you say?
Absolutely. I mean, for example, I'll say this is my first time doing a podcast like this, yeah. And if you ask me, what am I going to do with this? I would say, look, I'm actually tired of introducing myself to everybody all the time. Vincent, who are you? How can we learn about you? I just say, you know what? Go check out that podcast I did with Hartley. And you'll learn more about me from there. And in that way, the kind of audience that I have that's going to be listening to this are audience that would also wish to be here someday, because everyone's on a journey. So I think when you then focus on people who are on a journey, who can bring value, then it triples that to more people who are also going to, if like the tree, like you said, connects to others, that's going to also bring more value.
It's like being a producer, not a consumer. Like, what can you bring to the table? What do you know what I mean by this? Not just what can you take, it's what can you give? And you might think, okay, where is my source of strength? And I suppose Christ.
Exactly.
Being Christ-centered.
Exactly.
But I do want to see what you think about this, because I think, I don't know if you agree, but would you say in a sense, like, why you do something is basically not just equal, it's basically significant to what you do, because this is what you do and why you do. Because I do wonder if because I've been thinking about this recently. So I know in law, I know in English law, for I think it's like Offence Against Person Act, but just things like assault, battery, and all that. You've got actus reus, the mens rea, and actus reus is basically like the act in itself, and the mens rea is basically like your intention. I've basically been wondering this the other day. It sort of came to me. I might have tweeted it, I'm not sure. But I'm not sure if I did, maybe I did. But it's basically thinking about, the intentions why we do things. Like, how important do you think that is? Because I do wonder, like, do we do things just for our own ego and basically to like elevate our status, our wealth, and that just for me, like basically try and come on top of the world? Or are we doing it for a place of service? And if it is a place of service, who are we doing it for? Are we serving other people so we get something back? Are we serving other people and doing things? Is it to serve God ultimately? Do you know what I mean by that? It's like, I don't know what you think about, like, how important is the why to whatever we do in life?
Well, that's an interesting question. I think I'll just maybe start about myself, about why I'm doing this venture that I'm doing. What is the motivation behind it? So I think it's more about say my personality, something that is inside of me. But how do I bring that thing inside of me in such a way that it makes me feel fulfilled? Because I say when I was younger, I'm talking about say about 10 years ago, when I was living a normal life. You go to work, you pay the bills, and then you have nothing much left. But while doing that, I mean, that was a normal thing to do. Everyone was doing it. There was just something inside me that was burning, you know. Say someone like myself who had migrated from Nigeria here. Obviously, the environments are different. There's so many things I see here which really inspired me, even as simple as just seeing how clean the National Express is. For example, the buses, everywhere's organized, and it always take me back to where I'm coming from. Like, how I wish I could, replicate what I'm seeing here over there. So those desires were there. And I noticed something about my personality was that I kind of like give myself so much to people, to others, not really to get anything back, but sometimes to just feel acknowledged that, oh wow, this guy, you're really doing so much. So there was one time in 2015 when I was in my room, I was like, you know what? this energy I'm putting on focusing on individuals who are not able to really see the sacrifice I'm doing just to even be around in life and all that. How about I do that for more people instead? And how do I come about that? How about I make a brand whereby I'm able to make this brand offer value to people so that by the time I focus all of my energy, because I could not deny myself from, okay, I wouldn't be kind anymore. I wouldn't be loving anymore because I don't get it like that from people. But if I focus this energy on this brand, and then people connect with this brand to get what they want. So in that way, I don't see myself drawn into people's opinion or maybe where they don't appreciate. And it doesn't really bother me because at the end of the day, the more people engage with the brand and the more it's helping them, the more happier I feel, just to keep myself in a safe spot. So that was the intention of making that brand. And then said, I need to add value to this brand. So what can I add to this brand that's going to add more value to people? So then I thought about, okay, Africa, when you talk about the global order of the world, we are at the bottom of the food chain, really. And it shouldn't be like that all the time. Talking about the youngest population on the planet. And I then thought about how to focus on the young people, how to focus on entrepreneurs, because entrepreneurs are the ones that have the ability to actually, create more economic activities in the country, create opportunity to create businesses, things like that. So while I was still thinking about this and I guess, okay, fine. It was there that inspired me to go to do my master's in Durham to say, okay, I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to be able to create a little bit of entrepreneurs in Africa. How do I learn about it? That was where I then went to Durham to then study how to, entrepreneurship, which helped me a lot. So now, in your question, is it ego or is it passion? I don't know. I wouldn't really say it's ego. It's more about passion because it was like taking the necessary steps that I needed to do to actually live my life in such a way that I'm living my inside out rather than suppressing what's inside of me to then to just adopt to the world around me.
Yeah, it's like I do think it's true. I don't know if you did read this, but like we don't choose our interests choose us. I think, and it's like if we can know if we're not doing what we're meant to be doing because there's like that sort of there's something inside us that's just like wants to escape. Do you know what I mean by that? It's just something to get out. And because I remember this podcast, I think I first had the idea like 2020, which is like sort of at February, March 2020. I just kept putting it off, and then I just sort of went for it last year. But it's interesting because your route that you end up into like Durham Uni. Yeah. So I'm just curious, like how long have you sort of, I don't know if war game's the right term, but sort of mapped out this sort of plan? Is it just always like been in your heart? Would you say it's just always been there? It's just a fire that you can't extinguish, sort of thing.
Well, in regard to Durham Uni, how it came up, it was like, okay, fine, I want to study entrepreneurship. The first thing is, where was the best place I can study this? I just went on Google. Top 10 best universities in the UK for entrepreneurship. And Durham, I saw Oxford, Cambridge. And then, then the next thing was, which is more affordable for me? So Durham was kind of like on the fourth of the list on that. And I said, okay, fine. Studying this from a reputable university, it's not just about the reputation from the university, but for the value of what I will get from it. And I just threw myself in without having any idea, but I just knew that I was going there to learn. I was not going there to like my degree where it was just parents, hey, after school, university. But this time it was me saying, I want to learn this because I want to use this to have the knowledge to build my own company.
Yeah, so I was speaking to you about knowledge as well because it's if you heard what Aristotle said about knowledge? He said something like the purpose of knowledge is a knowledge, the purpose of knowledge is action, and so it's just that having that idea of okay, I've got this knowledge, but it's to action. But I really want to sort of go look into what 'cause you seem to have like an entrepreneurial sort of approach to life, would you say? Because this involves a lot of, not necessarily you want to be boxed in.
Yeah.
You want to sort of, the world is your oyster sort of thing. No limitations, right? Of course. The sky is the limit, and the sky has no limit. And it's just, yeah, what sort of, anyone watching this, what do you think sort of advice how to basically approach business and how to sort of start business? Because I feel like, I don't know if you agree with this, but I feel like business is just a lot of potential in the world. Like this, I feel like we're operating probably like, as humanity, maybe like 25% of what we're capable of. Yes. People might think that's crazy, but I think you think what we could actually do if we, if we put all the, just basically more active and just went out there. Yeah, what in terms of entrepreneurship and business in 2025, what do you think sort of the best approaches to starting it? Like, what you sort of say? And like for you yourself, what you're doing now, it's Centaville, I believe. Yeah, like, and how much risk and courage was there in sort of going forward with it?
Well, interesting. What I'd say is, first, when someone wants to start a business, it's not just about starting. It's about, first of all, what is their values? It has to start with, first of all, who are they? What's your values? Um, what do you want to do, or what do you want to change, or what value do you want to add to others? I think being an entrepreneur is totally different from running a business, because sometimes people look at entrepreneurship like running a business. Entrepreneurship is more like the macro activity that's able to make multiple businesses function. Yeah. But for business, it's just like, most of the goal is profit maximization. Like, how do I turn this orange to make many juice out of it, and then make money, But entrepreneur is looking at it from a more macro scale, in the sense of, how can I add value to, uh, 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 what can I do to bring more businesses? Okay, say for example, when I was uh, running my social enterprise, there's a community in Nigeria. It's called Ibonu. It has the longest beach in West Africa. Wow, so huge, massive, endless. But there's no development there. I mean, I'll say the best restaurant there, if you are going to rate it compared to the kind of restaurant you've seen along the beach, I don't think you're going to give it 2 star. Wow, that kind of location. So when I first of all set up my team around there, they're like, "Oh, we could just do it. We could just do that." I said, "It's not just about me doing it. Yeah, if I just come there and do it, yes, I may make money and all that, because people will be like, 'Oh wow, we've set up a 5-star restaurant. There's nothing like that there.'" But I said that, but that's business. But what I'm trying to do is that this beach have more potential. I mean, if you look down at the bottom, you see a lot of people doing a lot of fishing. There's markets. There's so many things happening there. I'm looking at the entirety of the entire beach, of what's the how we can maximize it, not just setting up one business and all that. Yes, they can call that entrepreneurship, but that's not the kind of entrepreneur I am. So then, and then, if you look at other communities out there too as well, they'll say, "Oh, it's not developed. The local government is not doing so much and all that." Then I ask, how many of you have actually gone to the local government's chairman or whoever is responsible, say, "Look, what are the challenges? Why is this not developed? How can I help? How can I serve?" I told them, I bet you, if you just go to your local government chairman right now and ask them if anyone ever come to your office to ask you this question, like, "Look, things are not working here. How can I help? How can I serve? Which is something you want me to do?" You'll be surprised. You'll be shocked that no one is come. So all of these things are the birthplace of entrepreneurship, where you question things, or when you see something, you want to make a difference. That is what gives birth to entrepreneurship. So it always now depends on the scale of the vision of the individual. All now goes to value. For me, I would say my biggest role model is Jesus Christ.
Yeah, cool.
You know what I mean? And when you have that kind of person as the person you look up to, that forms your value or the way you think or the way you look at the world, you see that your approach to things is from a heightened perspective.
Yes.
But once you have someone like maybe a rapper, or I'm not saying it's bad or not, that who's your role model, and then you are not building your value based on that, you already see that you're already shrinking. Because let's be realistic. Let's say yeah, I don't want to go too into details, so not be like, but you know what I'm talking about. It's just depending on who you have really put above yourself. That now shapes your perception of life.
Like you subordinate yourself.
Exactly.
Because I think going with like I think there's few avenues to go down, but we'll come on to Jesus in a moment. But in terms of entrepreneurship and not being limited, you've heard of Bruce Lee.
Bruce Lee.
Bruce Lee.
Yes.
What do you think of Bruce Lee?
I think he's a great actor.
Yeah. Because he had a quote. It's like something along the lines of "There are no limits,
Yes.
only plateaus," sort of thing. It's just like, I think as soon as you put limits on things, then you stop the potential growth in a sense. But I think even you don't. What's that saying? If you aim for the stars, you get to the moon. If you get to the moon, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's it. It just keeps going,
and it's like even if you have an unrealistic objective or goal, if you don't hit it, you get further than you would if you didn't have that goal. If that makes sense, this is like you'll maximize potential. But yeah, looking at Jesus as the ultimate role model, because I think it's I love just to explore his life actually, because it's like if he's your like, why do so many people around the world worship him? Like why is that? And it's just if you look at his life, I don't know. It's like he's God. He's the Son of God. He's like fully human, fully divine. And so what? The first most part of his years, they weren't really. Maybe when he's 12 years old in his birth.
yeah.
Then he gets to 30, starts his ministry. Before his ministry, he's just a carpenter, I suppose. Don't really hear much about him. I just find it interesting how 30 is the age he starts. That's quite interesting. But what's interesting about Jesus, though, I think I was speaking to some people yesterday about this, is that he had a lot of enemies. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, perhaps, I don't know what you think about this, but perhaps having enemies isn't such a bad thing. And perhaps having enemies, maybe it's a sign that you're on the right path. And do you think that the bigger the thing that you're looking to do, or I don't know if high is the right term, but the more you're looking to strive forward, the more you're looking to better yourself, the more enemies you get, or the bigger the threats, in a sense.
Well, what I say is, from my own example, going on this path to self entrepreneurship, most of my greatest supporters, I would say people that really motivated me and everything, were not my friends.
Wow.
They're outsiders. So I wouldn't say they were enemies. It's just more like, who the hell are you? I know you so well already. Why did you can do this? It's like in the terms of Jesus Christ, where there's a saying in my language. It says, a king is not known in his home.
Yes, I was just thinking, and I love that. It's so true.
Yeah. So with Jesus Christ, it's like, isn't that carpenter's son? Who the hell is he claiming that is the son of God? You know? So even if you have the best thing to sell, no one's going to listen to you, because they are already saying you based on what they know about it, but for those who don't know him at all, they accepted him.
Yeah.
Because they have no history of who he was. So that's the situation I find myself. Even when I try to talk to my colleagues about what I'm doing and all that, come on, But when I speak to complete strangers about it and all that, they listen to me, because they don't have that thing that they kind of have prejudice against.
Yeah, so
it's something new.
yeah, it's like that. It's like if it's within your sort of communities or tribes to say, it's like people are thinking, who do you think you are?
Yeah.
You better than us, sort of thing.
Family,
Yeah.
friends, everybody that knew you before the vision forget it. You're not gonna get any support from those people and all of that.
It's like in the UK, you had the term crab culture.
Yeah.
It's like if a crab's in a bucket, one's trying to escape, the crab's like pull the crab. It's like if you're trying to, you could say escape. People call it different things in it. You know, transit. There's obviously that term the Matrix. Is there? Well, which might be controversial, but I think Matrix is so real. Yeah, but like if you're trying to, you call it the vision.
Yes.
Like if you try and transcend whatever it was you were before, or try and like, I don't know, was it for you? Was it like a specific day or date, or do you have a specific like moment where, I don't know, this vision was sort of revealed to you? Just the sort of, you know, like it's like the Paul on the road to Damascus sort of thing, yeah, where you just like, I know, there's this distinct time in your life where it's like there's a new you. Yeah, in a sense. I know in Christianity, there's baptism, there's confirmation, isn't there? There's accepting the Holy Spirit. But I don't know if in another sense, because obviously I might be getting to my story actually, how it sort of happened to me. But was there sort of a moment for you where I don't know, it's just like enlightened, like you're awakened in a sense? Do you know what I mean? But it's like, whoa, this is the path.
In fact, for me, I remember the exact dates. It was sometime in the 20th of August, 2020.
Wow.
They just, first of all, the date itself, 2 days after my birthday. Then I was already so much into what I was building.
Yeah.
And till now, there's just something I cannot really explain about it. Just somehow the way the universe works, where when you channel your mind towards something, somehow it brings things to you. But it's so difficult in such a way that you sometimes you kind of be hostile to what's coming. Like how is this really happening like this? Why is it so? At the same time, you'll be. I think I started going through a lot of battle in my mind. When I was trying to hold on to the environment I was very familiar with. Like where my vision started. The friends I had and all that. But I realized that as I went deeply in the vision was taking me somewhere new where I had to take a big decision, where I had to leave the environment I was. But where do I leave that to? Because I couldn't see where I was going, but I already knew where I was, my comfort zone. And my friends and the people I had around me, it had to be. It was now a thing where for me to even be in that environment, I have to cut down myself because they were not connecting with me based on what I was passionate about. They were connecting with me based on what they knew about me, how I made them feel and all that. They were amazing people. They were great people. Yeah. But it was just that I was the one who was different. So then I was sparking with myself like, no, why am I so different now? So at that time in August, there was like a big split that happened inside of me where I came outside, I was running, I was shouting, I was, they wanted to come with the mental health hospital to pick me up. I just ran away. I ran away to one of my friend. I will never forget his name. His name is Lawrence. I met him at work. And while we were at work, I was always talking to him about my vision, what I was doing. So he was always excited to see me every time, So he was the only person that I had in my life then that was really connected to what I was doing. But my friends, so I called him. I was like, please take me out of this place. Please just help me out. I just want to like move out from where I am. I just start a new life. I was like, Fis, are you okay? I said, I'm just going crazy. I just want to run away from everything. So he told me, come to my place first, come and then let's talk. Then I came to him. I was just telling him how I was feeling. He just told me he understands. So he said, explain to me, see what's happening is that you're switching dimensions. I'm like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
I said that where you were is not compatible with who you are. So all of those things sound like parables to me. I have no idea what you're talking about. But he just told me what you need to do is that I'm going to help you. Just move out from where you are. He gave me some money for deposit and all that. Go find a new place to live. Not just continue my life from there. I just said, don't need to apologize to anyone yet. Focus on yourself, you know. And that was how I left that environment.
Yeah, it's like it's time to level up sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like pruning a plant sort of thing. You cut it,
Yeah.
it gets prunes, but that's necessary in order for it to grow stronger.
You know,
I feel like it's a lot of things before you go high, you have to go down sort of things.
yeah.
It's like I did it sort of went that you've heard of the hero's journey by it's like this concept. It's by Joseph Campbell. So I did a podcast on it. I think it's episode 11, but basically Joseph Campbell, he's this 20th century writer and wrote a thing called The Hero's Journey. You've heard of Star Wars?
Yes.
George Lucas. Yeah, so he basically is inspired by him when he wrote Star Wars. And then you're familiar with The Hobbit, Lord of the Rings, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yes, the idea is that you start in a place of comfort
Yeah.
and the known. You're like familiar with everywhere. You're comfy,
Yeah.
but it's like water. It's like it's stagnant. If you just stay in that comfort, you die basically.
Yeah. Maybe.
And so you have to step out into the unknown voluntarily. Like you have to do it yourself. It can be pushed. You could be inspired to, but you have to make that step. And usually on the way, you find some sort of mentor.
Yeah.
Some sort of who like guides you. And it's a bit like, and if you look at it in Exodus in the Bible with the Israelites, so you could sort of apply it to that in a sense that got these Israelites, they're in tyranny, they're slaves. In a sense, although they're slaves and they're in tyranny, it's horrible. In a sense, you could say they're comfortable. In the sense they're familiar with everything.
They didn't even realize they were slaves.
Yeah. And then, but they had to have someone, the hero, Moses, in a sense. God calls Moses. He's like a normal guy in a sense. Like doesn't have like superpowers or anything. He meets God in the burning bush, the fire it's burning but not being consumed. It's like when God uses us, he doesn't basically burn us up. It's like we're still alive. We're brightly more. But he meets God there in the burning bush. Then what does he do? He basically God uses Moses to free the Israelites to the promised land, but they go straight to the promised lands straight away.
No, not really at all.
The desert, and a lot of them are complaining that the desert's worse. Like, why are we here? And it's like that when you go from that place of comfort, the known, into the unknown, to begin with, it's harder.
Yeah,
because it's like you're in chaos. You're like, where am I? But then if you endure, if you're humble and accept your limitations, turn to God, and you have to find that source of strength that's outside of yourself. Like you can't rely on yourself, and that's where love what he said. He said that Jesus is the ultimate role model. It's like you have to look someone who basically is someone who's not you, but someone who's perfect in every way.
Yeah.
And if you look to all these other people, it's like they've all got flaws. But then if you turn to Jesus, be humble, then basically he'll guide you, and it's from that place of the abyss, it's only upwards from there.
Basically, you just have to keep gazing on him, because even when when that happened, I didn't still understand what was going on. You know, I think at that time I still had a lot of. It was more like ego, like I saw myself like one supernatural being, like something is going on, like I'm just fit. But what helped me was that I keep gazing on Jesus, because he was above all of these things. But life was just different then, you know. My whole environment changed. I was dealing with people, I would say the higher status of society, you know, which on a normal day from my comfort zone, I wouldn't be there. But from that new foundation, like you said, by the time you like the hero's journey, when you're evolving, somehow you just find a mentor who pulls you, and then settle your foundation, and then you keep going. So that was how I kept going on that. I even had another breakdown again in January in 2023, but this one now happened to say, oh really, life really had different layers. So now I'm recovering from all of that now, but now I'm now more conscious, now more aware of how it works. Unlike before, when it first happened, I was not really sure what was going on, but now I now see how life really works. And there's something you said about being humble.
Yeah,
when these things happen, you have to be humble. I wasn't the first time. In fact, I would say I was more like a narcissist, you know, and I blamed all of my tribulations I was going through I started, even one of my very good friends, name is Simon. He felt the heat. I blamed him for everything. you are the one that's making me so slow and like really, but I didn't really but now when it happened again, I am now more conscious like, oh, really, this is how it works. And life is a mystery.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's difficult to explain this to others because you can only feel it, understand this if you're actually taking a journey yourself.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like the beautiful thing is everyone's on their own path, aren't they?
Yeah.
It's like this because I find it beautiful that life is like what over 8 billion people alive, and no matter who you talk to, that person you're talking to has lived a life that only they've lived.
Yes.
So therefore, there's something to learn that you can only learn from that person,
Yeah.
which therefore makes you automatically, if you have that approach and if you're looking to learn, you think, what can I learn from this person?
Yeah.
And what can they learn from me? You naturally have that mutual respect, so you naturally respect them. And I think it's only upwards from there, but it's also seeing them made in the image of God as well.
Yeah.
And having that sort of, I don't know, I think when you see it that way, it's like, how can you not respect each and every one you interact with? But I think it's interesting. I don't know yeah, it's interesting. You've heard of Padre Pio?
Yes, Padre Pio.
Padre Pio, yeah. So it's interesting what he says. He said that the human soul is the battleground.
Yeah, you've read this between the God and say for God and the world, yeah.
And it's so true, I think, when you think about it, isn't it? It's because we've got free will, and obviously God is desperate for us to get to heaven. You know, it's like absolutely desperate, loves us more than anyone could on earth. But then obviously you've got Satan, who basically just wants to put everyone down. So you've got that. What is like, we've got free will. I don't know if you agree with this. Do you agree? Like free will, I'm not sure if it's heresy or if it's dodgy or whatever, but I kind of think it's true. I think the only thing we truly own is our own free will.
You know, what you said is really profound because yesterday I was doing some preparation with the team about some scriptures, and all we read in the scripture was this. I think it was somewhere from Corinthians, can't really remember. So it says that it first of all reminded us that Jesus is the new Adam. So we had Adam,
Yeah.
who came in, and then it was a living being. And then the world was shaped based on that. And then God himself came through Jesus to become the new Adam. But this was not just a living being. It was the spirit, to awaken the spirit to rise in us. So it says we first come as natural being, and then followed by becoming spiritual. So in that natural sense of things, when we are doing things out of our own ego, out of our own self, like, oh, I am this, I am that, this is who I am, and majority of our world today, humanity, even the world structure of things, always want us to remain in this consciousness of me over everything. It is my will and all of that. But this is totally different from what Jesus Christ is telling us. He's saying that I have conquered that world of you. You understand? Now follow me. And when you follow me, I will come in you and I will rise in you, into this world and show you a new experience of this world and everything. And when you enter that Christ consciousness, it's more like it now evolves you to in a deeper perspective of how you see this world. So, and I would say I'm grateful to God for how I've gotten to understand these things, because now it's not about me anymore.
Yeah.
It's not about, I'm not saying, listen, Lord, your servant is speaking. No, not anymore. I'm not saying, speak, Lord, your servant is listening. So being led by the Spirit, and that is the new life that Christ gave to us. So the thing is, sometimes it's difficult to put this out there because it's not something that you just walk into. It's something that you have to actually be open to truth.
Yeah. So
Open to, because truth cannot come into a rebellious heart. You have to even question everything. In fact, question the Bible. Question, how is this correct? Question everything. with the genuineness of not to condemn it, or I want you to really know. By the time you start doing that, you just to take it to a journey, to beyond, to now really understand that, oh, look, there's more to this. So what we have out there is just, like a facade that forms the ceiling of everyone's way of thinking, not knowing that there's something beyond that. So this is how I say.
Yeah, I think it's being zealous.
Yeah.
I think that zeal, caring, like you gotta want it.
Yeah.
Wanting to know. Because Jesus, he said, seeking you will find.
Yeah.
Not seeking you might find.
No.
So I do wonder if we haven't found it, are we truly seeking?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It says seek and you will find, and that is the truth. And seeking is not about seeking with and then but wearing with a limited lens. You want to seek. You want to question everything with genuineness of, I'm questioning because I want to learn, not questioning to dismiss. Can't somehow. There was a time when I used to argue when I was young. When I used to argue with my friends every day, they go to church. I'm like, you guys are wasting your time. What are you talking about? Are you telling me that if God should come now, I was really rebellious. I was rebellious, yeah. But now look at where I am now, talking about Jesus Christ and all that, because I was actually a Catholic, but I was really sick. I wanted to know, you know.
Yeah, for sure. And have you ever heard the term like extremes meet?
Yes.
I think it's so true. Like, because I like this saying, like the patterns of existence seem to be consistent across all realms of human interaction with reality.
Yeah.
And basically in life, there's just so many different patterns.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've heard of Shia LaBeouf.
No.
He's basically this famous Hollywood actor. I think in like the 2000s, he's pretty big. And he is a very zealous person, like really a lot of zeal. I think he cares. And it's interesting because he recently, I think maybe a couple of years ago, which so he converts to Catholicism, right? But I just find it's like if you've got a circle, or if you've basically got two extremes on either side,
Yeah.
and we turn it to a circle, they're really close to each other.
Yeah.
And it's like, I wonder if the worst place to be is lukewarm in the middle. And I think that with these patterns, if you think about it, with these extremes meeting, I was actually talking to someone the other day, it's actually my brother. It's actually, I think maybe a couple of weeks ago. But if you look in society, the like the poor and the rich actually have quite a bit in common, don't they? Like the poor don't drive because they can't, but then the rich don't drive because they just get someone to drive for them. Just little things like that.
Yeah.
I think that the poor don't have a phone, so they can't afford one. The rich don't have a phone, or the ultra rich
should use their phone.
they just got like someone else to. So it's like, and it just seems to be so many different patterns. Also, like to die, in order to live, you must die. Sort of, you have to die to yourself. So another pattern. Just everywhere. Like what about plants? The seed goes down, and then it shoots. Yeah, it's kind of So I just wonder if there's just these, and also things that are worthwhile usually take time.
Yeah.
Don't they? It's like a process. It's sort of another thing, but that leads to patience, endurance, never giving up. And so maybe that's how God answers our prayers. Maybe it's sort of the journey, sort of a process. And I think I do think a beautiful thing about life, especially following Jesus, giving your life to him, is if you just ego-centered, my life's all about me, you've got all these plans, and you're thinking, oh, in 5 years' time, I'm going to do this, this, and this, and this. If I don't do it, it's a failure, or I'm a failure. But instead, if you just go, well, following Jesus, commit my life to him, spend time with him, and just read the scriptures, and what do you want me to do, Jesus? And you don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
How exciting is that? Like the best movies that we watch, the best times we have watching a movie, is it when we know what's going to happen, or we don't know what's going to happen? It's when you don't know, isn't it?
It's when you don't know. Why the tension?
Yeah, but but it's also good watching a movie. You know it's a good movie, because of the reviews, but you don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And it's like with our lives, when we commit to Jesus, like the reviews, like it's gonna be good.
Yeah.
Because he's promised, it's gonna be good. Obviously, you've got revelation in the scriptures. We know what's gonna happen at the end.
Yeah.
But sort of, we don't know what's gonna happen along the journey in the like specifics.
Yeah.
And how exciting, no?
This actually just puts a question in my mind right now. When we talk about Jesus and looking at the world that we are getting into today, where somehow even saying that name doesn't make you cool anymore.
Yeah.
And me being Catholic, and we're talking about we have a lot of Christian domination across, and they're all saying Jesus as well, but they don't consider me as someone who follows Jesus because I'm Catholic. So being following Jesus sometimes, and the structures that we have in the world today, there's something really wrong somewhere, because if we are all following Jesus, why do we have this so many segregation? And this segregation, and Jesus is not bringing all of these people together. Rather, why is there that? Why is there not that unity? So I've pondered about this question, and I've spoken to some priests about it. And from my own findings, what I've seen is that Jesus is as most Christianity have not turned Jesus into a brand.
Yeah.
So so the brand is screaming Jesus. So you are conscious of Jesus based on the brand's information of Jesus. So what happened is that they put a ceiling on Jesus. So what has happened to humanity is that, like, if, for example, if you come to my country, Nigeria, you could see like a big building like this, with different rooms, and then in that same building there are different churches, different Christian churches.
Yeah.
This one is one branch, this one another branch, this one's another branch, all saying Jesus, but they don't agree with each other. So this is also a very big problem, and while I was doing my journey, when people ask me about what is my motivation on this, I say it's Jesus. And one thing you said about extreme meats,
Yeah, so true.
I got to find out that while I was in this journey, I started meeting entrepreneurs as well, who were also doing great things, who were able to connect what I was doing, and I was able to connect what I was doing, because they see that by coming to me, I will be adding value to them, and me going to them, I'll be adding value. And then I ask, what is the motivation about all of these things and all that?
Yeah.
After we talk deeper and all that, they start writing some of them, many of them were like, Jesus Christ, But they are calling Jesus Christ not from the brand.
Yeah.
They are calling him based on how they feel, how he's making them feel, how he's rising through them, whereby they want to create a world that has the value of what Jesus Christ wants us to be. So the irony about this is that the best people that I have found in my journey are not people who are attached to a brand.
Yeah.
There are people who are trying to experience Jesus above that limited perception of, oh, it has to be this brand for you to. I don't know if I'm making sense. So, yeah.
Okay. I think what you mean is that it's sort of like they don't have that personal relationship with them. It's more just they do it to tick a box.
Yeah.
Like they go to church, tick. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, pray, and they're not that their heart's not in it. Their head is in it. Like they believe in him rationally, but they don't have that personal relationship with them.
Because about Jesus Christ is about dying to self. You don't go there to ask, I want this, I want that, and commanding. You go there to Jesus, you've brought me here. Do with me what you will. Please give me the grace not to resist the things you want to do through me. Give me the grace to not be consumed by the needs of this world, so that you can live through. And when you're praying like that, you actually say, I don't need nothing in this world. I want you to be here for and that's going to make you an alien, isolated, because you're not living in a conventional way. So you're going to be weird. That's how I pray. So I noticed this about great people, even some great entrepreneurs we have in this world who have done great things for humanity, even if they may not acknowledge Jesus Christ, but the practical step that they are doing is what Christ actually asks us to do.
It's like pattern, the
Yes,
patterns.
the pattern, the patterns.
Yeah. And it's like, I don't know, it's, St. Ignatius said, find God in everything.
Yes, kind of.
And if you search the truth, Jesus is the truth.
Yes.
If you search the truth without maybe without realizing you're searching for Jesus.
Yeah.
Because he is the truth, the way, and the life. So, but maybe they just don't realize that. And perhaps I wonder, without wanting to sound judgmental, be judgmental, people who don't necessarily, so they believe in God, but they're searching for the truth. Perhaps they're closer to Jesus than people who aren't searching at all.
Absolutely. I mean, one of my favorite saints is Saint Veronica, the one that wiped the face of Jesus during the when he was carrying the cross. I mean, what's the story about her? This a woman, when Jesus was carrying the cross to Calvary, where there were lots of people around there, who knew him, some weeping, some hating. But Veronica was just a lady. She knew nothing about God. All she could see was, this man is suffering. There's a lot of blood and all that. And out of the compassion in her heart, she ran into the crowd, went through the soldiers to wipe his face.
Yeah.
So the church acknowledges her. Well, okay, I'll think about when Jesus was on the cross and then the two thieves, like, look, remember me, just that last moment. So sometimes the people who have actually made themselves vulnerable so that Christ can come through them and walk. I think those ones are much closer to Christ. I mean, think about it. When of St. Paul, it was the biggest persecutor of Christians and all that.
That zeal.
Yeah, he has a zeal. And why did God use him? Why did Jesus Christ use him? Is that zeal that you have? I like it. Yes, good, but use it for me.
That's it.
If David was not a faithful shepherd, there will be any use for God to use him to do the great things that he was doing. So you have to just be doing something great.
Caring,
having care. Just do something that impacts humanity, not something that impacts a small box. Just generally, and God will pick you from there.
It's like not just being lukewarm.
Yeah.
Not just trying to fit in.
No.
And it's like,
No.
because there's another thing. Are people following that route? Is it I'm fitting in just to be accepted? And do I want to be accepted to serve my own ego? Do you know what I mean? So people like me accept me. Do you know what I mean? Like, I wonder if there's these similar patterns at play here.
Sometimes it's the way society has shaped it. Sometimes whenever we are born into this world, we're just born into structures. We don't know. Yeah. We don't know any better. And then you're born and then you're told every Sunday go to church, to follow these rules and everything. So sometimes we just go with the pattern. But I'm thankful for the way the world is right now. Never in the human history the world is so connected, where somebody from the remote part of the world can see that something is going on this part of the world. So people are not questioning, people are not asking questions. Even if it makes people live in the church, good. Because now they are searching for something deeper. And when you search it, when you seek, it will find you. Yeah. So now that the world is now becoming a more like a global village, so there is raising people's consciousness. People are not asking. I think we are, like many people say that we're heading to 2. No, I don't think we're heading to 2. We're actually heading to the lights. I think because everyone is going to be waking up, breaking up from those shells that they could not see any better.
So the veil's being lifted.
There's
more access to more information.
Access to information. There's no limitations anymore. And I think that's where we're heading to now. And I think the world is just, like I said, great things that don't just happen just like that. It goes through some kind of darkness and all that. And that's where we are right now. But the future is extremely very bright.
You have to be optimistic, right? You have to believe. And I do believe that if you believe it and have faith, then it will happen. Do you know what I mean about that? Whereas if you just don't have the optimism, you don't have that faith, then what are the chances that that's... Do you know what I mean? It's like, I think you wonder what extent what we believe, how what we believe it becomes true, if you know what I mean. So if you believe something, truly believe it, I believe as humans we're so powerful, more powerful than we could ever imagine. Jesus even said in the Bible, it's like, Mark 11:22-23. Like if you say to this mountain, be thou removed, so do not doubt in your heart, but believe that what you say comes to pass.
Yeah.
It will. Right now, it will be done. So it's like the power of our words, power of what we believe, and I wonder if that's like Satan, the devil, whoever controls the mainstream media. I wonder if the whole objective of it is just to stifle that in humans. If you think when children come into the world, like we're just all so bright, got this energy, haven't we? Just so like the automatic, it's like children just lighting up a room, don't they? But they don't have that care. And they naturally believe, don't they? They want to believe, and you wonder if like the systems in place, the mainstream media, if it's there to stifle that, and sort of, as if it's like this burning fire. It's like their objects to put water on it,
Yeah.
dampen it. 'Cause if like you only lose when you quit.
Yeah.
It's yeah. But something that sort of came to mind was also, I don't know what you think about this. It sort of came to me the other month. I found it fascinating. Is this difference between tools and objects?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, how do we see? And what I mean is, usually in life, we see things as a tool or an object, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
Like this microphone, the object side of it, you say, oh, it's plastic or it's got this material.
Yeah.
And if you look at it as a tool, you think, no, this is helpful for what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
A book, like a book here, is this okay? Is this a tool? So the tool side of this is, by reading this, they'll be entertained. I'll learn a bit more. Basically, I'll have a good, basically be entertained. You see it as an object, you think, okay, it's paper, it's ink, it's that. So do you know what I mean by that? It's like the thing in itself,
Yeah.
or what it leads to. And I believe that in life, especially looking at church, not seeing it as a brand, or the relationship with Jesus as a brand, it's not seeing our relationship with Jesus as just something that will like lead us to somewhere, if you know what I mean. Yeah, it's actually being in love with him for who he is.
Yeah.
Because I think as soon as you go down the route thinking, oh, if I believe in Jesus, I'll get this. That's like,
Transactional.
yeah, transactional. Is that what you mean by the like seeing it as a brand? It's like, I don't know if that's,
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, tools and objects, when you look at things on the surface, you just see the surface. But when you look at it on the deeper meaning, you see the purpose of why you're in there. I mean, there's a reason why I'm Catholic. And when the way we worship Jesus, it's not just about, if you follow him, everything will be beautiful.
Yeah.
In fact, the church tried to let me know that, look, are you actually ready to follow Jesus? Do you know that you're going to burn? They remind you that, look, following Jesus is actually denying yourself, denying yourself to everything that you know and letting him rise in you. So you're living by faith. It means looking after others before yourself, So it emphasizes on all of these things. It emphasizes on the characteristics of Jesus Christ, But the other place is more like, believe in him and you get what you want. Yes, it's true, but that is not the emphasis of it. The emphasis of it is more like, he has risen, beyond the cross. Though he was in this world, but gone, but still in this world. But now he just needs to dwell in our body to continue doing what he needs to do in this world. So it's to us to give up ourselves, for him to come in us, rise in us, take our hands, take our legs, take our brain, and move on in this world. That's just basically it. So by doing that, believe me, you don't become worldly anymore. And when you don't become worldly, a lot of people cut you off because you have no value to them. It's like, why not transaction? Why you not,
Yeah.
So to being Catholic, and when it now comes to, we worship him, especially in the Eucharist, where when I take the Eucharist, I mean, in a state of grace, men people just take it, but no, you have to. I mean, they say Harvard, for example, is the best university, but doesn't mean that because you go to Harvard, you become a genius. You have to actually study. You have to actually know why you're there. You have to actually engage in why you're at Harvard. You get what I mean? So with the church is that there are things happening, but for you to really understand, you have to engage. You have to understand, why is this done? Why is this? And by the time you understand this thing, then you now engage with it. What happens is that it's like an institution of Christ. It actually shows you how to put yourself in a position where you can actually make him rise in you.
Yeah, it's like with the church that's where all the truth is. And I don't know if you say correct a word search. You get a word search, you've literally got all the words in front of you.
Yeah.
You have to engage and
You have to engage.
you have to grapple in it, and you have to basically think, okay, where are the words? And you have to highlight it. But when you get given that sheet, you've got all the answers that are staring you in the face.
Yeah.
But it's like God gives us the answer that we have to give ourselves, sort of thing.
Yeah.
As well. So it's again seeking or finds.
You have to, because like there's one time I went to okay, I think I was looking for a Christian group to join, and
Yeah.
something outside of my church, just to meet other people, you know. So I got this group. They were, I think it was a Pentecostal faith. So they were talking about a couple of things and all that, and then I contributed my point. Everything was going well. So then I asked, so what church do you attend? The mistake I did was to say Catholic. Yeah, immediately I said Catholic. They're like, oh my God, now we see why you are here. God has led you here to be saved.
Yeah.
But when I looked at it, I say, why do they have this perception of me that God has led me there to be saved? Why me, from my own heart? I'm like, I want to connect with, Christians, people outside, to see how I can, extend myself to my brothers and sisters. That's for my own heart and what I saw. Yeah, not what I think. But for them is, you were lost, now you are found. So if you try to stand from different perspective, you see that then you got judge which of them is actually talking from a heart of love of Jesus.
I said love, yeah.
Yeah, because if I am telling you that I'm Christian, I'm Catholic, and God, we're talking about Jesus, God who love Jesus, but you are saying it as someone who is not saved, someone who doesn't know Jesus, when I'm telling you I love Jesus, so you get, so that really made me uh kind of feel in some kind of ways, because it's just complex.
Yeah, you mean that position of like looking down and judging? They're the ones calling the verdict whether you're Christian or not, and they're sort of analyzing your relationship.
Yeah,
This is like from the metrics. That makes sense.
from yeah, and it's not to be discriminating, but I'll look at it from a limited view, because if I'm telling you that I love Jesus, and you are saying you love Jesus as well, why can't just that bring us together?
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Why does it not have to be my own method of worship? I mean, for example, the kind of music I listen to may not be the one that you will like to listen to. Yeah, I like my slow songs like Enya and Enigma and the rest of them. Others like something more up and all that, but they're all still music. It's about how what really resonates with me. So it doesn't mean that you now have to put me in a different category of humans because of what I'm listening to. Rather say that, oh wow, you love this music. Oh, why do you like it? How does it make you feel when you listen to it? So and then yeah, so it's but being Catholic, you see, you're talking about an institution that has been there for over 2,000 years.
Yeah.
They're very consistent. They have a structure of how things are done. These are people that actually the founders of Christianity, basically, and nowadays, for example, you go to university to study a 3 years course, you can't just go online and still do the same. Well, it's not still the same. It's not the same experience. So what I'm just trying to say is that when you really want to seek, you want to seek from the source of where all came from.
Yeah. Because the closer you are to the source, the purer
The purer it becomes.
the less, but the more something travels, the more it can pick up things.
Yeah, it it sheds away
Yeah.
the authenticity of the original.
Your like concentration. It's just like, yeah, the closer you go. Yeah, because I think that with the Catholic faith, I think I was brought up Protestant, maybe up until I was like just turned 18. I think I think it's got a quite an interesting experience with it. 'Cause I think for me, the big thing about the Catholic faith is you've got a history.
Yeah.
We actually look into history. I think it was, you heard of Candace Owens?
So had you said that? Yeah, I'm not.
Yeah, she's converted to Catholicism recently. I think her husband, George Farmer,
Yeah.
he's a Catholic. I'm guessing he probably influenced in some way to why she converted. But I think George Farmer said to be a student of, oh, is it since to be a student of history is to be a student of Catholicism, something like that. I can't remember the exact quote, but it's basically, if you study history truthfully and put your ego to the side,
Yeah.
and then actually go with an open state of an open mind, I think it's very difficult not to accept the Catholic Church. You think before 1500, well, and not take into account this, even before the schism, into Eastern Orthodox, it's just the Catholic Church, wasn't it?
Yeah, it just does.
And I think if you look at it like this way, when you've got good and evil, I'm not saying people who aren't Catholic are evil, I'm not saying that, but look at good and evil. I think there's a similar pattern. Because remember, I looked at these patterns. I think there's patterns in everything, the same patterns. If you've got good and evil can't exist on its own.
Yeah.
Good can.
Yeah.
Evil is a distortion of what's good.
Yeah.
And so Protestantism, it can't exist on its own. It has to. What is it? Protesting. What are you protesting against? The Catholic faith. It's like you have to something to protest against. So it's like I do want that similar pattern, and the Holy Spirit brings people together.
Yeah.
As Holy Spirit unites, the devil scatters.
Yeah.
And so what have you got? The Catholic Church, one denomination. What have you got? The Protestantism splitting.
Because there's no roots. Yeah, because even the roots, which is Martin Luther, he was a Catholic before. And then if you then even look at his stance on what modern day Protestantism stands for, his stance was even more Catholic than what the Protestant, because even had his view or what he thinks about Virgin Mary, very Catholic, Catholic opinion. So if really the Protestantism is from Martin Luther, which obviously was, why are they not holding the same values that their founder was? This now brings me to when we talked about Moses, when he would lead the Israelites, to the promised land where they went through and all that.
Yeah.
Now think about it this way. God was the one that led them through Moses, right? So when they crossed over to the promised land, now I could see a scenario where people would be like, this Moses, I don't think, I think I'm tired of him. You know what? Let all of us go our own way. I mean, we found the promised land. God has brought us here. Let us go our own way. Because if God has brought us here, that means it's also with us. It's with every one of us here. And what happens? You think God will abandon them? No, He wouldn't. He will still look after them. But the only thing they will miss out is that they will miss out the fullness of where they were supposed to be going to through Moses. Because God was coming to them through Moses. So by the time those set from their own way and say, we want to go our own way, because we're not too confident about Moses anymore, we believe that in God is with us now because He has saved us. We've seen the miracle He did. He made us go through this water and live it. God will not pardon them. Of course He will not. But the thing is that they will lose the fullness.
Ego as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
I want to go my own way. Your own way. Be the bar.
Yeah, you'll get to that comfort zone like you want for yourself, but you will miss the fullness. You will miss the fullness of what happens next because God keeps flowing through Moses there. And then that's what happens. That's how I say it, because the Catholic Church has been there for over 2,000 years. I'm talking about generations, I'm talking about nations, I'm talking about what is the word? Industrializations. You're talking about so many things that have come and gone.
They survived.
Let's talk about airlines that come and gone, but still they survive.
It's a rock.
Rock. Yeah. Still they survive up to now. So that means there's something they are doing well. Yeah. The other institutions that were there when they started are not here anymore. That there's something they're doing right. So that's the notion make up for question. What is it that they're doing right? Why are they still here?
Yeah. It's miraculous when you think of it that way. It's like think of what's all the events in the world that's happened.
Yeah.
It's like still it stands.
It's
I mean, it still stands and getting stronger every day. So there's interesting said about what Moses in the desert though. I find it quite interesting because like these different people wanted to go their own way, and it's like you have to stay the course, don't you? And you have to sort of endure. And I suppose having under sort of yeah. So when I converted to Catholicism, actually, there's this one verse that really basically stood out to me. Because obviously you have questions, don't you?
Yeah.
Like, oh, like confession, why can't you just say it to God, like, in privately? Even though when you confess, it's actually humility, isn't it? Yeah, basically, you have to be humble. But it's this verse, it's Proverbs 3:5. It's something like, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your understanding.
Yeah.
I think those two things are very strongly linked, aren't they? It's like trusting something outside yourself, bigger than you, and also it's trust Lord and lean not on your understanding. It's like, do I understand this? No, but just kind of, and I feel like that's with processes, and that's the split, isn't it? It's like, I don't understand this, I don't, therefore, how can it be right? That it's just, and it is linked to faith, isn't it? It's like letting go, reaching out, and having faith in that. But obviously, it's the Eucharist as well.
Yeah.
Real presence, like, and when you actually go into exposition and experience Jesus there,
Yeah.
like, different. Yeah, you don't, because I think you don't have to be rational with it. You don't. What I mean by that is you don't have to. It's like I think with Christianity, with following Jesus, it's you have faith to have knowledge.
Yeah.
Whereas like the world teaches you, no, you have knowledge, then faith.
Yeah.
And so it's like you have to sort of, yeah, just basically over yourself once you, and being led more by the Spirit, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's if you try to think things and rationally, like think all pros and cons to all these decisions, but if you're just led by the heart,
Yeah.
and have counsel, which one of the gifts of the Holy Spirit, and I think if you're led by the heart, even if people around you try and convince you otherwise, I think, oh, I'm gonna do this, and you might have like your friends and family might be like, oh, why are you doing that? These are like 10 reasons why you shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
And then, but in your heart, you know that it's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
And so it's that thing of no matter what people around you are saying, like no matter what it is, the stronger that bond is, the stronger that relationship is with Jesus. It makes it easier to go that path.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
It keeps you firm with the path you're going.
Firm foundation.
Yeah.
And so it could, yeah, it's like at the end of time, Judgment Day, the end of our lives, like who are we going to stand before? It's just you and Jesus, right?
Yeah.
So therefore, every decision you make, that's all that matters. It's like, am I pleasing Jesus? Yes. My families might be upset. Yes. These pocket friends might be upset. Like, but is Jesus upset?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like that is the question, isn't it? Who, like, is Jesus pleased with what you're doing?
You know, sometimes when you speak to people, say for example, who are not Christians or far away from religious life, they always want to use knowledge.
Yeah.
But there's a difference between knowledge and wisdom.
Yeah.
These are two different things. And when you use knowledge to justify your own claims, or I have read the Bible back and forth, or show me where it is in the Bible, those kind of things and all that, then you've not really understood the gospel. Because if my God, the God I serve, the maker of this universe, can be compiled in a book, then that's a limited God. Because the God I'm talking about, there's not the one that can be compiled in a book. It's a God that those book, I'm not saying that the book, it was, first of all, it was a church that compiled the book.
Yes, exactly.
Let's say how it does. The church compiled the book and they put it out there. So that means there's so much more, or the church felt this is what should go out to the world. And when the church compiled the book, it was 73 books, I think.
73, yeah.
Yeah. And then other denominations, they took out some books away. And now most of the Holy Bible is 66 books, So if the church compiled this book, so what more is there that they are not... Okay, now, Look at the New Testament that talks about, the Old Testament is more like the Jewish religion because most of the things in the Old Testament is in the Jewish, where Christianity came from, with the descendant of that. Now, the New Testament, Jesus had 12 disciples. Yeah. Right? How many of them wrote the book? Less than 6 of them. Yeah. Matthew, Mark, Luke, John. What about the others? What did they say? So, Peter being the rock, there were so many things that was infused into the church at the time, And for you to get the fullness of this, you have to be involved with the church, not involved with the book. Because Christ did not leave us a book. He left us the rock, which is the church, not the book. The church left you the book.
Yeah.
So now when you tell me, where it is in the Bible, okay, say for example, when I'm working, I always have issues with Pentecostal because no, I don't have issues with that. They have issues with me.
Yeah.
Let me put it that way. So it was like, you people worship Mary. I said, no, we don't worship Mary, but we acknowledge her. Like she's a very important figure.
Yes.
To my life. Yeah. And I said, how? She just a person. I said, no. Show me in the Bible. I said, let's keep the Bible aside for now. Let's ration. Let's talk. Let's reason. I said, Jesus on his last, Jesus, who is our God, who would take so highly. He said, yes, you agree with that. Okay, fine. And then on his last day, on his last words, he said, he looked at his the disciple. He said, and then looked at his mother. Behold, this is your son.
Yeah.
Then look at the disciples. Was it John? He said,
Yeah, John.
He said,
the disciple.
and this is your mother. No, look at it in the real sense. Say, for example, you have a loved one who is in a dead, about to die, and the last words that they say is something that always sticks with you.
Yeah.
And God,
Wow.
God came to lower himself to become man.
Yeah.
Lived among God. That's God, the maker, person that made us. Now say these words.
Yeah.
And then you are there saying, maybe it doesn't matter. There were so many other things he could have said as his last words.
Yeah.
Many other things.
Yeah.
But that was what he said.
Yeah.
So now what did the church say? It said after the disciples took her with them. And then what did the church say? The church said that Mary is the ark of the new covenant.
Yes. Powerful.
Because it was through her that God came. So the new world began, because of Mary. Because God came through her to us. And then she became the new Eve.
Yeah.
And then Jesus Christ became the new Adam. And that was where the new life began. So now you're not talking about not acknowledging Mary. Where are you?
Yeah.
So now if you don't acknowledge Mary, you have to acknowledge something. Then what were you acknowledging? You are acknowledging a human.
Right. Yeah. The brand thing going on. Yeah. Let's go back there.
So it's all a circle. It all now goes back to the basic principle. It's either Jesus Christ even said, it's me that died for you. It was not the Cephas. It was not this. It was I. Yeah. So why do we now have I belong to this, I belong to that, I belong to them? So that's what's happening.
Yeah.
But the churches keep saying emphasis when the priest wears the hosts. I said this is that is the epic moment. That's the epic.
Yeah.
So if you're not connected to that, man, I don't know where you are.
Yeah. Well, basically, in maths, what we've got, the liturgy of the word.
Yeah.
Liturgy of the Eucharist.
Yeah.
The word is Jesus.
Yes.
Isn't it? So, but when any person you carry the Bible around with it, you're carrying Jesus with you.
Yeah.
But then we've also got Jesus as the bread of life.
Yeah.
The Eucharist. It's like eat both. Eat both. If you don't eat my body, you don't have life in you. Yeah, I believe. So it's yeah. Because I've been thinking about is this thing to tribalism, and it's this thing that as humans, I only thought about it recently. I was like, whoa. As humans, it's like we're always looking for community, aren't we?
Yeah.
We're always looking for belonging.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this is like everything. I went to a football match earlier this month in Spain. And it's literally like, it's a football game. You're watching a team, but the crowd is a family.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like a community. It's like a tribe. It's like, you wear the team's colors. It's like you're part of our family.
Yeah.
And so it's like, as humans, I think we always just want that belonging. We want that community. We want to belong to a group.
Yeah.
And I wonder if there's that fear of, if I'm not part of the group, like, what am I? Because I think like as people, we find that identity maybe in the groups.
Yeah.
And so if you're in a group per se, or if you're in a group, like a tribe, community, and that community is going the wrong way, and you deep down, you know there's things that aren't quite right, you know it's not right for you, you're sort of faced with two options, aren't you? Like, and I think they're both they're both scary in a sense. You know, option A is, I stay with this group.
I feel safe.
Yeah, you can apply it to anything. If you're in a bad friendship group, you're doing things you shouldn't do. It's like, even when you're a kid. If you're like, I'd say most things in life, it's like a tribe. It's like a business or a company. When they hire someone, generally speaking, how do they hire someone? Usually it's, are you part of the tribe, i.e. already in the company, or, oh, I've got a brother, or I've got a friend, or whatever. It's like, it's someone who you know, isn't it? Usually, obviously, you've got the interview process, and maybe sometimes you hire someone completely outside the arena, but usually it's like they're part of the tribe. Yeah. They're part of the community. I trust them. And so so the option is, I go out, I basically have to, I keep going along this path because it's comfortable. I've got people around me. Yes, it's not basically good for me. Yes, so it's like, I know I'm not being the best I could. Option B is like the courageous path, isn't it?
Yeah.
You have to basically be willing to give up that group, go into the desert, perhaps you're a little bit isolated, but then I believe that God brings the right people to you.
Yes.
So I met someone in the summer. I met them in Lords. They probably might know who they are. And I think I tweeted something like, I must be a character to be accepted, and my true self will be rejected. Something like that. I felt it's true at the time. I felt like, you have to be put on an axe. I think if you have to put on an axe, probably means you're in the wrong place, in a sense, perhaps. But then he was basically, he replied in like Instagram DMs or something. He just said, oh, in fact, I might be able to find it now. He basically said, no, I disagree. Just be yourself and the right people come to you. And that was like early August, he said that. And since he said that, I don't know, it's just like, wow. Do you know what I mean? I feel like we learn so much from other people. Even if there's someone we don't like or don't agree with, you can always learn from everyone. Like, literally, can't you? Even if they're not, like, as Christians, it can be, oh, I can only listen to Christian music. Oh, I can only be around Christians.
Yes.
But it's like, I think we can learn from everyone.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's just that you have to have that. The closer you are to Jesus, perhaps the more stronger your filter is.
Yes.
So, because if you're around the wrong people, just being around, you can take in the wrong stuff. But if you've got a strong filter, it means that you can easily separate the wheat from the chaff, can't you?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's like,
You just like what you said about the tribe now. For example, a lot of people like to be in that safe comfort of being in a tribe, being in a community, being in a group, because they just feel like, oh, because they when you look at the world from a physical perspective, you say, oh, I have this safe cushion. This person is there, that person is there. Yeah. But when you want to live for Christ, what you will eventually find yourself leaving that group and venturing to a path of the unknown. And that is very scary because not a lot of people have the courage to do that. And the way the society is being structured today, many churches and all that, is that by the time you now God is kind of calling you to get to that courage of breaking out and so that He can live through you, we always misinterpret that calling of doing more in that community where we are. Many of them become pastors, many of them become, church leaders, all of that and all that. But you are still there. You are not yet out, because when Jesus Christ came, Jesus Christ did not come for the church people. Yeah. He was on the street. So the way they listen there. It was on the street. So it's not like God is calling us to go to the street and start preaching. No. The way the world that we are right now, I mean, we have world leaders. We have people in the WHO. We have people in all the big organizations, okay, this world that make decisions from there and impacts how we live our life. Those people are also human beings,
Yeah.
But what value do they have? So you that God has woken you up in this small space that you are, why don't you think that He's calling you to go there so that your values, so that you can take God's value over there, which by the time you put it in action there, it reach out more people.
Yeah.
Why do you feel that you have to now be a pastor or something in that small congregation of people who are still trying to, because there's one phrase I saw in the Bible where Jesus said, he said, "Woe to you, Pharisees, for you stand in the gates of heaven. You do not go in, and you prevent those who are trying to go in from going in."
It's quite powerful.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So you are awake. You now see the world, and you now feel that the next thing you want to do is to lead people to yourself.
Exactly. Like you're at the gate. Yeah. You're at
Yeah,
the gate.
you're basically
Look at me.
yeah. You are not going you're not going through the gates.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ came to, but that at some point was called King of the Jews. He didn't go to say, "I want to become King of the Jews," but his action would make people say, "He is the King of the Jews." So why do you think that God is not calling for something bigger? So sometimes what happens is that we limit ourselves, and I see that we now even become antichrist, because what we are doing now is, "Oh, God has woken me up. Now it's time for me to now lead people to God." No, go your way. Let God lead you to where He wants to take, so that you can now open the space for people who are coming behind you to be able to find guidance.
Yeah. And it's like that's how paths are formed.
Yeah.
Isn't it, in the natural world? It's if you see a green field, there's no path, just a field.
Yeah.
But you walk along it, and people think, oh, start walking there.
Yeah.
They inspire you. This is what these people do. They're like these shining lights in amongst the sea of, I don't want to sound, but sea of normality. Do you know what I mean by that? Like the average Joe, you just see these people that pop up. They're like shining lights, and there's just something about them. People go, oh, I want what they've got.
Yeah.
And they walk along this path, and them just walking inspires other people.
Yeah, so it's why to follow.
And the more people that walk it, you got a path formed.
Yeah, a new platforms.
Yeah, but it takes courage, though, doesn't it, to take that first step? You know what I mean?
That's the thing where, I mean, someone like myself from Africa, where we have a lot of religion. Yeah, then you can go in the street, you see 10 churches over there, different churches and all of that. But yet it does not reflect on the community or the environment. So really, is Christ really there? Yeah, know what I mean? Because if Christ is there, it will reflect on the community, So everyone is just being drawn to, I would say, to the ceiling, to the wall, and they're not able to see beyond. So this person is in a park, locked in one on a different park like that, and me, I come as a Christian. For me to be able to connect with them, I have to cut off everything I know.
Yeah.
Shrink myself and go in there. And that's when I'll be accepted.
Yeah. I know what you mean. It's like, yeah, you deny.
I'm basically denying Christ.
Yeah.
I have to deny Christ for me to go into this environment to fit in.
It's like,
But that environment, amplifying Christ, the louder when it talks about Christ.
yeah, 'cause it's like, is that a thing? It's like, do you go to church to be a part of a community or a tribe, or do you go there to encounter Jesus? Do you know what I mean? But it's like, I think they're different things, and I think that's why. Because with this thing about Protestantism, it might sound early that we're just bashing it, but the thing is, with ultimate comes like, who do you say Jesus is? That's the question, isn't it? You could argue it's the ultimate question, because as soon as you ask that question, I think Billy Graham said this. I love Billy Graham. Some of his homilies just like sounds just incredible. And he did one on like, who is Jesus? And if you watch it, I recommend watching it. But when you face that question, who is Jesus, your life changes forever. Because if you accept Jesus, obviously your life changes. Like you deny yourself, you could say awakened. But if you deny him, it's like you denied the Son of God.
Yeah.
Like it's been revealed to you that truth. You said no.
Yeah.
Like, how serious is that? But looking to find Jesus, though, I do. The passion. I genuinely believe the passion of Jesus is the ultimate story, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's all of human history, because obviously you got, as Christians, I think we're asked to do the Stations of the Cross, aren't we? Always good to. But you've got, so what have you got? You've got someone who's 33,
Yeah.
betrayed one of their closest friends,
Yeah.
middle of the night, then the other disciples abandon him,
Yeah.
just let him get arrested. Like, that's horrible. So, like, betrayal to death in front of a lot of people, like, that's a big shift, isn't it? Yeah, people are scared of that, and then basically dictates from the Roman Empire. So in the Roman times, crucifixion. I believe they were skilled in torture.
Yeah.
Horrible thing to be skilled in, but what people died: dehydration, suffocation, exposure to sun, and it's like prolonged death. It's like most humiliating, torturous death. And not only was he completely innocent, all he did was help people. And isn't obviously his mother was at the foot of the cross, so that's like, yeah, like, that's something. And but what happens at the end? He dies, but then what happens at the end? The resurrection.
Yeah.
So it's that idea that, and Jesus, if we're called to follow Jesus, that means I believe we're called to follow the life that he's lived.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so he wasn't some sort of big celebrity, like, look, he's a carpenter. So it's like, when he's called at the age of 30, starts ministry, he didn't shy away from it.
Yeah.
Didn't shy away from the passion. But the beautiful thing is what happens at the end of it, the resurrection.
Yeah.
It's this idea that, like, following Jesus, it's going to be painful, challenging, but if you endure throughout to the end, what comes after?
Yeah.
The resurrection is like another pattern. And I think with the passion story, I think we can find all of humanity there. It's like, who are you? Are you Pontius Pilate? Are you Veronica? Are you someone in the crowd? Like, who are you? Do you know what I mean?
That's something like, and also it now tells us about we, because sometimes let's say that somehow we kind of put two persons in one. If you look at the time of Jesus and you just look at it thickly, not just about the word or what the Bible says and all that, but just look at it in reality. He was like every young man at that time, there was a pattern. Everyone lived their life, go to the farm, you get married, have children, go to work, and all of those things. Same pattern, same everything. At the end of the Saturday, they go to the synagogue. It was just a circle.
Yeah.
But he did not come to live that kind of life, to just continue that circle.
Yeah.
He came to live something which is the same spirit that we have today. The spirit that makes us to live the life that God has put in us.
Yeah.
Because that's God using that, manifesting himself through that body.
Yeah.
And that same spirit is what we still have to today.
Yeah.
Of those people who follow him. Now, he lived a completely different life. Not because he was a rebel, but because he was living in truth.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he was not living to just conform. He was living to live me what was built a thing. And that is God.
Yeah. Maybe that's what's calling us forth.
Yeah, God was calling us, isn't it? Because he's saying that when he left, he said, I am living, but I will send my spirit for you guys. I mean, other religions think that the spirit is another man. But we know that the spirit is already in us. It's just for us to now wake it up.
Yeah.
So that the spirit can now rise through us. And that spirit is actually Christ.
Yeah.
So we now become Christ.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, yeah, that's what God, yeah, it's quite profound, isn't it?
Yeah, we have become Christ because now all we've done is that we have not killed ourselves. We're not living in that circle of the world. We have not killed ourselves, denied ourselves, so that he can now rise in us.
Lives in us, yeah.
And now lives in us. And then we now see ourselves manifested in similar way that Christ did in this world. It's not been necessarily going out to preach, but just the actions that we take will benefit humanity.
Yeah.
And then what happened that it evolves you to a level of society of higher consciousness, of wisdom, and then you'll be able to find your tribe.
That's it. It's like, I do believe that when you commit yourself to Jesus, your IQ increases. Do you know what I mean? This will just change. Like,
It's not out there. It's not something you learn in a book.
Yeah.
It's like a download.
Yes, it is. It is. I think you inspired me actually, because I think when I first met you, you were saying how you were going to an expedition of the That's sacrament. Yeah, yeah. Just sitting there,
Yeah.
with Jesus.
Yeah.
And I think I've had sort of experience before that I met you where I, I'd read online basically reasons why it's so important and basically things that happen. And then I think that I sort of that you sort of said that you've been doing it for like 9 months or so then.
Yeah.
I didn't notice that you seem to just there's sort of this brightness about you, like light in your eyes, like other people that are there. I think it's this hotel, wasn't it?
Yeah.
On that weekend, but just in general, you just sort of had that. That was like, and that sort of inspired me.
Yeah.
And ever since, I look to continually do that. Just be with Jesus in the Blessed Sacrament. Just because that when you're with Jesus in the Blessed Sacrament, it's the just present with Him. That's the same Jesus who died on the cross for you.
Yes.
The same Jesus who created the world. Jesus is God. God created the world. So you're there with the Creator of the universe. You have to have faith because it's the appearance of bread. So, and you can't please God without faith. Another pattern.
Yeah.
Faith. But just sitting there being with them, it is like a download in a sense. It's just like, it's like if you're next to a warm radiator, you just sitting there, you get warmer.
Yeah.
But this is like with Jesus, you just sitting there, you don't have to do anything. You have to say anything, just sitting there. It changes your soul in a way that nothing else can. It's like your soul just gets, it's a bit like, it's like if you've got like a small bottle, you can only fit a certain amount of liquid in there.
Yeah.
I feel like being with Jesus, it like increases the size of what you can contain, if that makes sense.
It gives you a new sight, a new vision. Even when I was building my enterprise, at some points, because I was going to the Blessed Sacrament every day, at some point I started going with book and pen.
Yeah.
Because my greatest ideas came while I was there.
Yeah.
I started writing.
Yeah.
So going there, like you said, you have to go there with faith, because faith is present in that bread. That bread is His body. That's His presence there. And when you are there and your faith tells you that He is there with you as well, believe me, that's everything. And I don't go there to go and start asking, oh, yeah, that's what do I know I'm asking for?
Exactly.
He sees my beginning from my ending. So what do I know that I am asking for? The only thing I always say is, Lord, please. My prayers, before I could pray for like 20 minutes. Now, the words that come out from my mouth maybe 2 minutes. And I can just say very briefly, it's simple as, Lord, You brought me here to this world for a reason.
Yeah.
Lord, please wake me up to that reason. Give me the grace not to rebel against the reason why you have put me here. Give me the grace of understanding. Come into my body. I give it to you. Use it to do what you will. But Lord, you know I have needs. I am human. I am still human because I am still here. Please help me with my daily bread so that I will have the strength and encouragement for you to continue to dwell in me so that I don't get distracted. That's it.
Yeah.
So I can't ask for, I'm not saying my life is perfect. I'm going through a lot of shit right now. Honestly, it's not that, but the thing is, just knowing that all of this is happening, God is aware. He knows they're happening. So it becomes a problem when I make it a problem on myself.
Yeah. And I think perhaps it's the challenges that sometimes another pattern here. There's a lot of patterns because it's this thing, right? Like I believe that we get more out of our enemies than we necessarily realize. Yeah. And it's like the resistance and challenges of life, perhaps they're there to help us grow. And it's kind of cliche. I think everyone sort of deeply knows this, but imagine I'm quite a big football fan.
Yeah.
I do like football. I love playing it. It's a great way to connect with people. It's great to break the ice. So you just meeting a person, especially from the UK, it's just part of the culture, football. If you just start talking about deep stuff, they're just like, oh, hold on. It's like football. It's like we both know that it's pretty frivolous. Like, who cares who wins the Prem? Like, it's just, I see it as for fun. But it's like football, right? If you've just got a football pitch, you've just got 11 players, no opposition, like, they're just going to score 100 goals. Why not?
Of course.
100 goals, that's great, right? That's the objective. You want to score as many goals. It's like, no, because where's the opposition? It's like, and if you just bring like a top Premier League side against the Division 4 side or like Division 10 side, they'll probably win like 10-0.
Yeah.
You've scored 10 goals. Are you not happy or fulfilled? It's like, no, it's you what to that ultimate the zone, as we might say. It's you have that perfect level of resistance and challenge.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It just makes us more focused in what we're doing, because it's like it's basically it's that right balance where it's challenging you just the right amount in order to bring the best out of you.
Yeah.
Because I think it's the pressure and the challenges of life, they force the best out of us to manifest.
Yeah.
And if you're just if you're in a test and you give a 16-year-old like a work that 8-year-olds would do, they get 100%.
Yeah.
Well, you'd think, but it wouldn't be challenging, it wouldn't be fulfilling. So it's like perhaps the challenges of life God allows because it basically, obviously, it helps to grow. Maybe that's because God knows where He wants us to be.
Yeah.
And so He allows these things to happen because He knows that if we endure it, we'll get to where He wants us to be.
Absolutely.
And I feel like in life, that's where as humans we find a lot of meaning.
Yeah.
It's like the sweet spot. I think St. Thomas Aquinas, he said virtue lies in the middle.
Yeah.
Something like that. And so if you look at order and chaos, or like anything, usually you've got two extremes on the sides, and the sweet spot's in the middle. Do you know what I mean? It's like wherever it's like you've got the right amount of challenge, and you've the right amount of ability to overcome that challenge. And usually, especially going back to the thing about football, the most fulfilling football matches are ones that are really, really close. You've got a right amount of challenge that sort of forces the best out of you, and it's like you overcome it. And we touch upon the extremes meet, and look in the gospel, right? Jesus in the desert, he's like the best of the best, right?
Yeah.
Who does he meet?
The worst.
It's like, and where do they meet? In the desert.
Yeah.
Isolation. And Jesus overcomes them, not by on the devil's terms, but on the words.
On the words, yeah.
He just says the words, and then the devil just goes away.
Yeah.
Then Jesus goes on his mission. He goes back out into the community. So it's like there's so many layers in the Bible. I think that you could literally study the Bible for a million years. It's just like a grain of sand on the beach side. There's so much depth to it.
So much depth.
And it's like as humans, you could go. You're on obviously with body, soul out. We all got a soul. Physically, you could train as hard as you want, but there's a limit to how fit, how big, how strong you can get.
Yeah.
But I do believe with our soul, with our spirit, is unlimited to how big and how strong we can get spiritually. And I think when you see there's no limits, it gives every day a purpose, because you think every day you wake up, you think, right, there's a chance to be stronger. There's a chance to basically grow.
Yeah.
Whereas if you see things as limited, it's like you lose purpose in a sense. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. This reminds me of a very beautiful quote by Matthew Kelly. He said something like this. He said, for those who choose to adopt the spirit of God, the world is hostile to those who adopt the spirit of God.
Yeah.
Because the world already have its ways of how things should be done.
Yeah.
But for those who allow focusing on the Spirit of God, there are less societal support in the world for people going that direction.
Yeah.
And that's where the struggle and the challenges comes from.
Yeah.
Because there's no societal structure that support those that really want to live out what is in them.
Yeah, I know scaffolding, like safe sort of.
That's why that's what motivated me to build my enterprise that I'm doing right now. Before the vision is what it is today, before it was come in here to rediscover what is inside of you. So that when you come in here to this platform, you are able to live out what is in you without feeling any sort of limitation. Because what we are focused on is, first of all, who are you and what is in you? What is your passion? Sometimes we know what our passion is, but we don't know how to bring it out. I don't know how to express it. And that's what I am building. To build, like when you come in there, it automatically connects you to people who are on similar journey. Having just conversation. It may not be that they're necessarily walking the same path that you are, but the fact that they're already thinking is that way.
Yeah.
Already brings out the best in you in such a way of like, oh, I think I know what to do with myself right now. Because, so creating that structure that is lacking for people who wants to live, fear the Spirit of God.
Yeah, it's like people who just want to grow. Yeah, they want, they know there's something more than the professional. So yeah, so what I mean by that is like, I mean, there's beauty in, like Jesus is the perfect role model, and there's beauty in the normality of life. It really is, because he lived in that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then again, there's also beauty in the mission. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? The mission. And it's like, and if you think a child is, maybe that time of normality is preparation for a mission.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like, I believe all of us, we've got that unique purpose in we can do inside of us, but the time has to be right, doesn't it? Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
like we earlier said, it begins first with the natural. The natural set for us, then the spiritual comes next.
yeah,
So in the earlier time of Jesus, it was the natural.
yeah,
And then when the spiritual side came, the word was not ready for them, and it just did only 3 years, and it was ended. It came away.
yeah. It's like you have to be ready. It's like a baby. You have baby foods, then you have proper. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah. But the good thing about what Christ did for us was that he conquered death, or we who are going through that journey.
yeah, it's beautiful.
So it's fair. So he has opened the gates.
Yeah.
So that if we are now going through that journey, as long as we focus on him, we will succeed.
Yes.
The world will not have any hold on us.
Stick your eyes on Jesus.
Yes, yeah. I keep going.
And it's like, that's another reason why exposition is beautiful, because that's literally what you're doing. You're fixing your eyes on Jesus. It's like, and another pattern, it's usually the things that are most worthwhile. It takes consistency, endurance. And I feel when I go to exposition, not like 80% of the time, maybe even like 99% of the time, like I don't feel like it. There's times where you can't, you know what I mean? It's like I don't feel, but you do it anyway.
Yeah.
And the more you overcome that resistance, like the flesh, the easier it gets.
The easier it gets.
It just comes like breeze. Yeah, it's just, and it's like, it's the patterns everywhere. If you want to get strong, like a boxer, they want to get strong. They don't go when they feel like it.
No.
They go consistently every day, a discipline. And it's, it is once better than not at all.
Yeah.
Yes. But the real change, I think, that we get to the next level is the consistency.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you just do things when you feel like it, is it better than not at all? I suppose. But it's like, consistency is the key. Is what I mean by that. And it's like studying for an exam, consistency, brushing teeth, consistency. So it's like
Everything of life.
I feel like we covered a lot there.
Yes,
It's pretty special.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for coming on. Maybe we'll do this again.
Yes.
I feel like we touched this. I reckon we could have kept going.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? Like, that's pretty powerful. I don't want to title this episode, the episode 13. Oh yeah, Ed, before we go, is there anything you want to promote? Like obviously you got Centaville, but I don't know how YouTube works. I suppose probably have to put links in description of that. But is there anything you want to promote, or anything yourself further you do?
Well, I think like this is my first podcast, and we just put it out there, and I don't really have any specific I want to promote, because everything is still building.
Yeah.
My website is there. Yeah. Entrepreneurial.com. And once you go in there, it shows you everything that we're doing. We connect to our LinkedIn and connect to our social media, and you see update of everything that we're doing. It's gone a long way, and yeah, if it's something that if I start talking about, is that's another whole chapter. But it's so far so good. Once you get on it, you'll be able to see what we'll be doing. So we are for the past 8 years. Yeah.
And things that are worthwhile take off. Got a long time. It was a process, but yeah, first like 5 years in the making. This episode, I really do believe that it's been pretty special. So yeah, thanks for coming on as always. I'm hoping we can do this again.
Sure.
And yeah, subscribe if you haven't already. Like all that. But yeah, thanks for watching, and on to the next one, episode 13.